Hey y'all, Sean here from Tesla Family. Got a fun video here for you today involving carrying bikes on my Tesla here. So I've got my 2018 Tesla Model 3 here in the front of the house, in front of the garage, and we've got 3 bikes mounted to the roof. This is how I typically carry the bikes when I am going out to the trail or out to take a ride. I have several videos that I've produced already covering how I carry my bikes on my Tesla, so definitely take a look at the playlist above where I detail all of these. I'm going to cover them here real quick, but we're going to try to solve another problem today, and that is here. I've added a new Tesla to the family. We now have a Tesla Model Y, and we need to figure out how to carry bikes on this. So let's jump in and I'll show you what we've done. Okay guys, first starting out here with the Tesla Model 3. So to carry the bikes on top of my Model 3, I have the Tesla roof rack, which I've had now for probably more than 5 years. Love this thing. It's super sleek when the bikes are not mounted to the Model 3 and it's just going down the highway, going down the road. But even with the bikes attached to the Model 3, it looks super slick, super sleek, and fast rolling. You can get this on the Tesla website for $400 for a Model 3. I also have 2 of these Yakima high-speed wheel off racks. Absolutely love these. They go on super quick here, just wrapping around the bars of the roof rack. Probably in about 30 seconds I've got these things on. Plus they're super lockable. You've got a lock here up front that locks the front through axle to the car. You've got a lock here in the middle that you can lock the actual rack to the car. And then here in the back, what I love about it is the lock cable integrated, and you can lock your bike to the rack that way as well. But love this rack. I also use here for my daughter's bike, and this is a wheel on rack. It takes a little bit longer to put on because it doesn't have the easy straps here. You do have to turn this in the front, but it does work really well for getting my daughter's bike, and you could even carry a full-size bike down the road with the wheel on. Also has a cable lock integrated and a lock here in the front to make sure it's locked to the vehicle. As far as having the front wheels off the bike, we just keep those stored right here in the trunk, and it is super easy, ready to go. All right, so now on to the Tesla Model Y. This is the new Quicksilver color. This is a long range dual motor. Super excited to add this to the Tesla family fleet here, but it didn't come with a roof rack. Of course, you could get a roof rack for it. It's $500 on the Tesla website, but then the issue with that is it's going to block the all glass roof. On the Model Y, there's a nice full panel glass. You can see here on the inside that goes from the front window all the way back to the back window, and I don't want to block any of that view. It looks really cool. Plus, the Model Y sits up higher than the Model 3, so getting the bikes up on top of them is going to take a bit more reach, a little more tippy toe action. So my solution is that I bought the Model Y with the tow package. Check it out. We've got a 2-inch receiver here. We've got the connectors if we were going to haul a trailer. So we're here inside the Tesla family garage. This is our 1UP QUIK Rack in this really cool black anodized color. It's an aluminum rack made in USA with a lifetime warranty. 1UP is a very, very high-end, high-quality bike rack. We have used this before there with the Subaru, and now we're going to use it with the Model Y. This is the 1 1/4 to 2-inch QUIK Rack that fits 1 1/4 to 2-inch receivers, and it comes as a single tray. That's how we bought it, in this really cool black color. And then we added this QUIK Rack add-on, which increases our bike rack's capacity now to 2 bikes. Okay, so we've got carrying 2 bikes figured out here with the QUIK Rack and the add-on. What are we going to do when we want to carry 3 bikes and go out for a family bike ride? Well, the answer is down here in these cardboard boxes. Let's check them out. So we just ordered an additional QUIK Rack add-on here in this large box we're going to open up. We also got the easy pull, which will help us tilt our rack without having to reach underneath it. We'll show you how that works when we get it put on. And a really nice 1UP cable lock in this box here. So we'll go ahead and open those up and throw on the additional add-on. I'll show you how that works. All right guys, let's get the rack off the wall and we'll throw on that third add-on. Now the rack itself does have some weight to it here. We'll go ahead and weigh it when we get that third add-on put on. It definitely takes a little bit of muscle here to get it off the wall and mount it up to the back of your hitch. Levers here that you put down. All right, so I've got the third add-on added on to our 1UP rack, and we're ready to mount it up to the Model Y. On a scale, I wanted to show you how much it weighs, and it's definitely a heavy rack. We're up to almost 65 pounds. All right, now it's time to mount up the rack. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, I've got the rack installed into the receiver here. Looks like this. According to the 1UP website, the receiver end has to go in 2 inches past the little locking ball. So it's about 4 inches in, and I confirmed that with 1UP. Talking about the receiver end here, what's really nice about 1UP is it includes this anti-vibration locking ball. So once you have the hitch installed, you want to go 2 inches past the steel ball. I just did a little etch on here as a mark, so about 4 inches in. You get that installed, and then back here there's another socket cap screw I'll show you. You tighten that down, it pushes this ball out, and that keeps the rack from wobbling. A little shake there, a little tighten, so it's nice and good. It's not going to wobble around on you. And then we have this cool little lock here that will keep the rack locked onto your vehicle. Like so. You can see here how it would look with the 3 bikes mounted. Let's see how the lift gate opens up. So that clears. Let's talk about the easy pull though, because this easy pull is going to make lowering and raising this rack a lot easier. Currently, you have to reach all the way under the rack here and grab this bar, you can see, pull this back, and that's how you can raise and lower the rack. Now you can see it much better here. You pull this back toward you, move it into position, and then you actually use this as a lock so that it will not shift around on you after it's in position. And that actually will probably take away a lot of the play in the rack by doing that. But 1UP has devised a solution to make this all a lot easier, and that's going to be the easy pull that we're going to install that will allow us to pull from the back of the rack and easily move the rack into the position that we want. All right, next up we're going to open the easy pull. Nice machined aluminum parts in the black. So this is what it's going to look like here. There are about 9 parts. raised position. And that's what it looks like all installed on the back. Alright, so here's a look of the rack with no bikes on it. We can see the rear camera has good visibility, and of course the two side cameras here when we back up. And if we were to drive around with the rack up, this is what we're looking at here. There is quite a lower amount of visibility here. Alright, now that we got the rack mounted, all there is left to do is mount up the bikes so we can go for a ride. And I'll even show you real quick that 1UP cable lock. Here we go. Okay, putting the bikes on is actually really simple. There's this ratcheting mechanism here. Let me show you how to undo it. You just pull up on this nice anodized ratchet lock, give it a little squeeze, then you can slide this front rail forward off your tire. Like so. You do that on both sides and you can get the bike on and off. But for locking, I'm going to swing this forward onto the tire, and as we do that, it locks itself into place by just pushing some force here onto the tire. So last but not least, we've got the 1UP cable lock. Open that up quick. So here it is, pretty heavy duty lock. I mean, this is some serious cable here. It comes with this aluminum bracket here and then the lock and key. Let me show you how this gets mounted up. Alright guys, so this is a 3/8 inch by 12 foot long cable, and it's designed to go around the rack and through the frames of your bike. And then you have this keyed lock that threads into the end and secures everything on. Let me show you how that goes. Okay, so I've got this threaded through. Here's the other end. You can go through either this way or this way. And, you know, in order to take up some of this slack, maybe I want to run it also through the wheels. And you put this lock end onto it, and then you just start turning the key, and it threads onto the end of the lock. And you're good to go. Now your bikes are all locked up. All right, so 1UP also has these skewer locks that you can use, and they go right here through the rack into through your wheel and into the other side. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't actually lock down the frame of your bike, but at least you have one part of your bike locked up. Overall, the bikes, you know, there is a little bit of wiggle there, but that's because they're hanging out, you know, 2-3 feet behind the car, but I think it's pretty sturdy setup. So far, pretty happy with it. All right, I did want to show also that I can get the Model Y into the garage completely with room in the front to go around it, and with all three bikes mounted and the rack in the loading position with the garage door down, which is pretty awesome. Also, caution, 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 this probably goes without saying, but you will not be able to open your rear hatch, your rear lift gate on a Model Y with bikes mounted. All right, so of course you also cannot open the lift gate with the rack in the vertical position, but if you operate the easy pull and bring it to the middle position, you can open the lift gate without any issues. All right, we're at a local supercharger. I wanted to see if we can get the cord to reach to the charge port with the OneUp rack on the back. Let's take a look. Take the cord, the rack is down, we've got the 3-place rack. Probably could even squeeze a 4 back here. And yep, just enough space here without too much pull on the cord. So that would work. Solves a little, one of my worries that I had with not being able to supercharge with a rack on the back, but you can do it. So now it's just time to go for a ride. I'm gonna close the video here by showing you what it looks like driving down the road through the rear camera of the Model Y to show you how much blockage there is. All right, so you can see now that with bikes on the rack, you really cannot see anything out of the rear camera here, but you can still see very clearly out of these 2 side reverse looking cameras. So these are really helpful seeing the sides of the vehicle. However, you know, backing up with bikes on the rack will be quite difficult. You're probably gonna wanna have a spotter. Luckily for me, I'm just backing out, but you can already hear the alarms, and Tesla thinks I'm gonna hit something. All right, so now we're driving forward, and we're still getting this warning here that says distance estimations may be inaccurate, but they go away here once we start driving forward. Seems to only be a major issue when we are driving backwards. Also looks like we can't do park assist. But let's see if full self-driving supervised works. Going to activate it now. And that's good. It can still be hands-free as long as my head is looking forward, which is great. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm really happy with finding an awesome solution for carrying our bikes on the Model Y via the new OneUp rack setup. Hopefully this information is helpful to you guys in maybe a decision to add a hitch rack to your vehicle, whether it be a Tesla or any other vehicle, because, you know, the OneUp rack can go on any vehicle with a 2-inch hitch, and of course even with a 1 1/4-inch hitch. In closing, I really did like the setup with our Model 3 and the roof mounted bikes. However, there we had to be cautious about clearance and not driving into locations that were too low, with ceilings that were too low. Here with the hitch mounted rack on the Model Y, we don't have to deal with the height issue, but now it's more of a backwards depth issue and a reverse issue. So you kind of got issues either way, although I think that loading the bikes will be slightly quicker here with the OneUp setup on the Model Y. We're going to try to keep it attached to the Model Y at least during the peak of our riding season. Maybe we'll take it off in the wintertime, but should be as simple as just lowering the rack down, throwing on the 3 bikes, adding on those wheel locks if we need to, and hitting the trail. So like I said before, time to hit the trails. But if you like the video, give me a like, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, hit that subscribe button for more videos from Tesla family. All right, catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching the video. If you really enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to Tesla family channel for free here on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get back to you soon. We really appreciate all of our subscribers and anyone who watches our videos. Thank you very much. Check out more of our content linked on the end screen of this video and on the videos, shorts, and playlist tabs. If you're on social media, follow us on X and like us on Facebook. Use my referral link to buy a new Tesla Model 3 or Model Y and you will get 3 months of free full self-driving, or $500 off if you buy Tesla full self-driving with that 3 or Y. Or if you buy a new Model X, Model S, or Cybertruck, you can get $1,000 off. And use my referral link to buy solar panels and Powerwall installed by Tesla and save $400 off.